This Sunday is the first Sunday in June. That means that the Beacon Hill Art Walk will once again be winding its way from noon to 6 p.m. through the secret gardens and patios of Beacon Hill. Residents open up their private gardens, alleyways, and courtyards and allow artists to display and sell their artwork. Visitors can enjoy not only the visual arts, but also live music being played throughout the day. Joining me again this year is the music coordinator of the Beacon Hill Art Walk, Ivy A. Turner. Good to see you, Ivy.
Good to see you.
All right, so before we get into your area of expertise, the music, this is quite a cultural event or pop cultural event on Beacon Hill because the residents of Beacon Hill open their private gardens to everybody, right? It's kind of this kind of the snootiness and the democracy together.
That's right. It's people coming together and agreeing to open up the gates of their hidden gardens and let people walk through them. So on this day, people always say, I never noticed this before. And that's because they're walking through areas that are not normally accessible.
And one day a year you can do this.
That's right.
Now, both artists, visual artists, and musicians vie to be in this thing to sell their works. I mean, the visual artists do. How does is there sort of competition for the cutest courtyard, or you know what I mean? Is there some vying for jockeying for position?
There is, both with the artists and the musicians. But each person has their favorite space. And one of my favorite spaces, which is some other musicians' least favorite space, is underneath the train tracks at the corner of Cambridge Street and West Cedar. And the reason I love it so much is there's a gate, and all the people walking down Cambridge Street, and that's a lot of people, can see the art and hear the music. And they're amazed to walk down the street and see that, and then they come into the event. So I like that aspect of it.
So you attract them and you put up with the tea rolling over your head.
Well, when it rolls over, you have a choice. You can stop playing or you just keep playing, and when it goes by, you are wherever you were, and it doesn't bother me.
All right, now there's, one can wander where one wants,
That's
right? But there are certain access points, right, where they have maps to see, because not always the same places are open every single time, right?
That's right, although we do put out big flags, so someone could
if
just
there's a flag, you know you can just walk in.
Yep, and it's a free event, so people could just wander onto Beacon Hill and follow the crowds, and wherever you see a flag, follow the people and see the art and music. Or you can go to the start tables both on Charles Street and at the corner of Cambridge Street, and this is just a few steps from the Charles Street Red Line T station. So people can pick up a map, it will tell them where all the locations are, and they can do it that way. And there's also a list of artists, so if people are coming to see a friend or an artist they particularly like, that will help them track down that person.
Now, I understand there's a wide range of artworks available. I mean, there are people that do commissioned work that, you know, and you sort of expect, if you go to Beacon Hill, you might run into people who cost a lot of money to get their artworks, but there's also like affordable things like cards, right, and jewelry. Is that
not so much cards and jewelry? We try to stick to original art, the type that hangs on a wall.
Oh, really?
But there's a very wide range of prices and sizes. And I know for many people, the Art Walk was the first place they ever bought original art. And people remember that because that's a big point when you do that.
Right, when you see the thing, you remember the day and the music and the...
Yep, and there are artists, though, with very large works and much more expensive works. And sometimes the Art Walk is where someone discovers that artist and then follows up and gets to know all of their work, maybe things that weren't at the Art Walk.
Now, do you have the musicians who you're in charge of selecting or organizing? Do you find it difficult to get people to play on this day?
Not anymore. In the early years, it was very difficult. It was hard to explain an event that spread out over an entire neighborhood, and people weren't really sure what it was. But when they came and played and experienced the joy of having crowds of people come up, especially with children, and hear music and just stand there as long as they want, beautiful surroundings. The sound actually is wonderful because it echoes off the bricks. So sometimes playing outdoors doesn't sound great, but at the Art Walk, the acoustics are fantastic. Now it's really the musicians calling in saying, do you still have room for me? Because I really want to be there. And people come back every year, and the music gets better and better. Great variety of groups, fiddle groups, klezmer groups, classical music, string quartets, a little bit of everything, nothing amplified. And people can just walk up and listen for as long as they want.
I mean, it's a delightful, it's like a win-win-win. You've got the great location, the beautiful, once a year peeking at how the rich folks live. You got the great visual arts, and then you have this great array of music, and it's all just there. I mean, I imagine that, you know, the sponsors, you know, it's a lot of work to pull all this together, and nobody's really making money. Or do they take a percentage of the artist?
No, it's not about making money that day. It's about, in some ways, it's like a community event. And it's to showcase the artists. They do pay a small entry fee just to cover the cost of us printing posters, but it's not for profit. It's a feel-good event, it's a tradition, and we know that many people come every year with the same friends or with their family. It's an annual tradition. Let's go to Beacon Hill and do the art walk.
Yes, well, we want people to continue to do that, so they should go to the website. Now, what is the website that people...
It is beaconhillartwalk.org.
Very easy, just what you'd expect.
Yep.
All right, and are you going to be playing?
I certainly will be.
All right, so you're going to reveal where it is, or they'll just happen upon you?
Well, the final venues don't get decided till the day before, but I can usually be found playing my cello with a quartet or quintet on the steps of the Vilna Shul, and also in the parking lot or under the T-tracks. So listen for the train, and you'll hear it.
Vilna Shul or the train tracks.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much. Well,
thank you.
Shake. I know your hand's hurting. Thank you so much, Ivy.
Thank you.
And everybody, this is a great thing to do on Sunday.